All right, so look, let's not waste time because there are families sitting in silence, checking their EBT cards, trying to figure out how they're going to feed their kids tonight. The government's telling us the same thing that they always tell us. There's no money. But somehow, the richest nation on earth, the one that prints its own currency, has an endless supply of cash for everything else except compassion. They got billions for war, billions for bombs, billions for other countries, billions for artificial intelligence that's taking human jobs. They got billions for the Pentagon, billions for Wall Street. They even got billions for the billionaires. Imagine that. But when it comes to feeding hungry people, feeding families, feeding the elderly, feeding children, all of a sudden they suffer from memory loss. Now all of a sudden they ain't got it. That's not an accident. That's not a glitch. That is the plan. Because starving the poor has always been one of America's oldest weapons. And you can see it happening right now in real time. The food stamps get cut off, no notice, no heads up, no plan, no backup plan. Just silence. Millions are just left in limbo, staring at screens that say insufficient funds, while the politicians go on TV and argue about budget discipline. They say we're out of money, but what they really mean is we're out of mercy. And I'm going to say this clear. Donald Trump and his political army are leading this charge. They wear this fake working class mask, always talking about the forgotten American. But look around. Who's more forgotten than the poor right now? Trump's people want to shut government programs down, but not for the ones that benefit the rich. They'll cut food stamps before they ever cut a corporate tax break. They'll slash EBT spending before they ever slash military spending. Because to them, poverty is not a problem. It's a punishment, a reminder of who's supposed to stay at the bottom. They call it fiscal responsibility, but I call it what it is: cruelty. And it's not just Trump. It's the whole damn system. The Democrats, Republicans, all two wings of the same bird. One pretends to care, the other doesn't bother pretending to care. Both feed from the same system while the people starve. If America really cared about ending hunger, it would have done it already. SNAP cost around $100 billion or so a year. It's less than 1/7 of the Pentagon's annual budget, less than we spend to destroy life overseas. So if they can fund war overnight, then they can fund the people by the morning. But they don't, because war feeds the machine. Poverty keeps it running, and hunger keeps the people from rebelling. Think about it. A full stomach starts asking questions. An empty one just wants to survive. And they know that. That's why there's no urgency. That's why there's no real press conference. There's no real national address to answer the questions of the people. Because silence is part of the control. You can't tell me that a government can track every dollar that gets sent overseas, but it can't manage to load a benefit card. They could fix this today if they wanted to, but they don't. Because letting people starve is cheaper than feeding them. This is strategic neglect. You don't starve millions by accident. You starve millions on purpose, to remind them of who has the power to feed them and who has the power to take it away. This is more than mismanagement. This is economic warfare. And I don't care if you ever use food stamps or not, because this affects all of us. Because the same war on the poor is the same war keeping the middle class drowning in debt. The same war that's making rent impossible. The same war that makes you choose between food and gas. It's the same machine, just different tactics. They've convinced people that their poverty is personal, that it's your fault that you can't keep up. But what else do you expect when wages haven't moved in decades and everything is rising in price? Every day. When a bag of groceries costs more than a day's pay. When working people are one missed paycheck away from being homeless and on the street. This is not laziness. This is sabotage. And Trump knows that language well. He sells it to his base, wrapped in patriotism. He tells them we're protecting the taxpayers. But who pays more taxes than the working poor? Who carries the weight of this economy on their backs while the billionaires dodge the bill? You can't call yourself a patriot while starving your own citizens. You can't brag about being the richest nation on earth while people are rationing food in the dark. You can't wave the flag of freedom while telling people that they don't deserve to eat. That's not leadership. That's a system that is so obsessed with power that it's lost its own humanity. And every politician that is complicit in this at some point should have to sit face to face with the very people that they've abandoned. They should have to look a hungry mother in the eyes and explain to her why $1 trillion military matters more than her hungry child's next meal. They should have to look elders in the eyes and explain to them that their taxes went to bombs instead of feeding their stomachs. This is not a glitch in the system. This is the system. Because hunger keeps the poor obedient, debt keeps the middle class desperate, and fear keeps the rest quiet. But here's the thing. It only works if we keep believing them. If we keep thinking this is normal, if we keep waiting for them to fix it, they won't. The only way we survive this is together. By feeding each other, by supporting one another, by realizing that a true community is the one thing that they can't privatize or profit from. If they can print trillions for war, then we can find abundance in unity. If they can build empires on greed, then we can build networks on compassion. If they can weaponize money, then we can weaponize love. Because this isn't just about food stamps. This is about dignity. It's about who gets to live in peace and who's forced to struggle. It's about a government that keeps proving over and over again that it values war more than human life. And if that doesn't wake the people up, then nothing will. So yeah, they've always had the money. They just choose to spend it everywhere and on everything except the poor. Because the truth is, they can afford it. They just don't want you fed. They don't want you strong. They don't want you organized. Because a hungry people are easy to control, but a united people, that's their worst nightmare. So when they say there's no money, don't argue. Just know that they mean that there's no money for you. That's why this isn't just an economic crisis. It's a declaration of war. It's a war on the poor, a war on the working class, a war on everybody trying to survive a system that was designed for us to fail. And the only way to fight back is to stop playing their game. Feed your neighbor. Share what you have. Build your own support systems, because every act of compassion is rebellion. Every shared meal is resistance. Everyone that is kept alive is a victory. So they can shut off the benefits, but they can't shut off the truth. They can't shut off love. They can't shut off the power of people who decided to take care of each other. And that's what scares them the most. Because once we stop depending on the same system that is starving us, this whole illusion falls apart. Thanks for watching, y'all. One love. Peace.